well, maybe not dunk because I so wish that I could do that, but I don't have the height yet. Or do you want to be able to make a game-winning buzzer shot like Kobe Bryant, like in the video that I'm about to show you? In this video, Kobe is it's against the Sacramento Kings. The Lakers are playing the Sacramento Kings, and there's only 4 seconds left on, and it's in the fourth quarter. So there's only 4 seconds left in the.
Let's see what they do. Back to Saul trying to find Kobe. And Kobe again.
Now, before you can do any of those things, you need to learn how to shoot. So today, I'm going to teach you how to shoot a basketball properly. Now, before I get into that, I'm going to show you the proper attire you should wear and the proper basketball you should also use. I'm going to tell you how to shoot a basketball and a personal story. So the proper attire you should wear is basically shorts, a t-shirt, and street shoes or basketball shoes, which I'm wearing right now. Now, for a basketball, it doesn't really matter which size you get. There's a girls' ball and a boys' basketball, but the difference between is a girls' basketball is 28.5 inches and a guys' basketball is 29.5. And like I said earlier, it doesn't matter which basketball you use, but it makes it a lot easier for you to shoot with it. So now that I've told you the proper attire and what basketball you should use, I'm going to show you how to shoot a basketball. Now, basically, for shooting, you usually shoot with the hand you write with. I write with my right, but I shoot with my left hand. So when you shoot, you want to have your feet shoulder length apart, and you want to be able to bend down, and you want to have it like this, and you want to have it like kind of like in an L shape almost, and you want to make sure that your dominant foot is up a little bit, so you bend down and make sure it's like this. And then you have a little pocket in here because you don't want to palm the ball. You want to have a little pocket in between. And this is your guide hand. Your guide hand doesn't really do anything. It just sits there. And then so when you're up in your shooting pocket, you want to be able to still see the basket. So when you're shooting up, you want to go like this and then release. And these 2 fingers are your last fingers that are leaving the ball. So when you go up, you want to be able to go and leave it like this. You want to have your follow through still there because some people shoot like this and they don't leave their follow through and it doesn't make the rotation or it makes it so it doesn't go as far. So you want to make sure your dominant foot is above, you want to bend down and you want to leave it like that. And for so when you want to make sure that your fingers are spread apart and the laces, these are the laces, they used to be black but they're not. So you want to make sure that they're like this. And then you also want to make sure that you're ready to catch the ball whenever you, so when you're ready, like when you get to catch the ball, you're ready to shoot. So when you go up, you just, and then make sure you bend down and you have it, and you just. So now that I've told you how to shoot a ball properly, I'm going to tell you a personal story. It was back in 6th grade, and I was playing NJB. NJB is National Junior Basketball. It was against this one team. We were the Sparks, and it was the 4th quarter, and there was only 15 seconds left, and we were up by 20 points. And this girl, the ref handed the other team the ball, and she passed it in. And the girl, I guess she just didn't know how to shoot, or she wasn't ready, and she shot it behind her back, but she actually made it. And as the buzzer went off, and my teammates and her teammates were all cheering and stuff after they made it, and my team's like, what the hell are they cheering for? They just lost. So now that I've told you about the proper attire to wear and how to shoot a basketball correctly, you should know how to, with a lot of practice, you should be able to know how to shoot a basketball even better. And this is what it should look like after you are, when you get everything together.
Open the path and let them home. Movies too cold like orange juice, just turns. Don't have to be shot up from the block to be hot. Bring it back to the plot and it just goes.
So now hopefully with a little more practice, you should know how to shoot a basketball after.
Okay. I like the series of questions that you have in the opening as an introduction, as an attention device, and the video clips that you have. Of course, that's ancient history with Kobe, isn't it? It's like that's back in the days when he was good. Oh, just mean. Back when the Lakers actually had hope. All right. Your goal for speaking was clearly stated. I like that. There's not really much of a preview, and the preview that does exist doesn't include some of the secondary points that you're going to be talking about. It's really more about the technique stuff that you're going to describe. When you do the description of the technique, you're pretty clear in what you're showing us. I thought that was the strong part of the speech. Your gestures, your body movements, and the visuals when you're showing us all those technical things are very good. Now, the problem is that you are basically talking to us as you're thinking about this yourself and going through the process, and you don't really talk to us. If you watch your speech, I think you're going to discover that you have, out of the 5.5 minutes that you're speaking, you probably look at the audience a total of 40 seconds, because most of the time you're looking at the basketball, you're looking at the imaginary basket that you're shooting at, you're checking out the angle of your own arm. Do I have the pocket there that I'm talking about? There are the fingers that we're going through. Here's the clip. And you're doing all this in front of us, but you're not really talking to us. And this would be, if you were doing an audience analysis, this would be a very good presentation if you were teaching kids how to shoot the basketball and go through that. But remember, that's not what, these people are not all here to learn those kinds of things, so I think you need to keep it a little bit more general on some of that. And even if you keep it the way you were talking about it, you need to make it interesting for an audience that's not going to be doing all of those kinds of things immediately. So, you've got a story about the girl who shot the ball wrong, shot it behind her head, and it went in. I'm trying to figure out why you're telling that story. You ought to be telling that story when you are talking about how you shoot the ball correctly and say, look, sometimes even a blind hog finds an acorn in the mud if it roots around long enough. This girl, for instance, that we played in high school on the JV team, shot blind behind herself and made a basket. But you're not going to be able to do that every time. So there's got to be a reason that you tell the story, and it should be integrated to try and make it interesting, the material that you're talking about here, as opposed to, here's the technical stuff, and then I got a story here that's kind of separate, and then I'm going to go back and give you... I don't understand why the last video clip was in there, because you don't really talk much about it. It might have worked better in an earlier section in the speech. If there's going to be a separate section there, you need to develop that a little bit. So, but the body movement, the gestures were very good. Your eye contact and facial expressions are limited because you're just kind of into your own technical things that you're doing there, and I think that's a little bit problematic. I did like the fact that you're not dependent on notes. You know what you're talking about. One of the problems that happens, though, when people do know the subject that they're talking about really well is they forget that, you know, that the audience is a little bit different. You know, they're thinking, I know this, I've got this, I'm covered, but don't forget your audience is maybe not in the same spot that you are. Your voice projects well, there's good variety there. There are a couple of dead spots, especially in the last minute or two of the speech. You have an awkward transition that's going on there, so there's some dead time. The speech is a little bit dry, and like I said, that's, I think, a place where you could make some improvement. You got to think about the audience a little bit more here. Like I said, if your audience was teaching 11 or 12-year-old kids how to shoot a basketball properly when they're getting into middle school and you want to learn how to do this right, I think you're in good shape, you know. But for a college classroom of people who may not be playing the game ever, it needs to be a little bit different. Okay, thank you.